guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week we're going to talk a little bit about how the classic car culture and really collectible car culture in general is kind of getting ruined. So I saw an article online earlier in the week, and actually I screenshotted it to give me a reminder that I wanted to talk about this because it's something that honestly I'm not only guilty of, but I also follow pretty closely. And so the article entailed essentially that rich people are just wrecking the restoration game. And really what that means in layman's terms, right, or in simpler terms, is people that have too much money, maybe not enough taste, but too much money, are the speculative ones that are going online. They're doing maybe no research at all. They're just listening to people like me on YouTube that say, you know what, the next collectible car is this. And these people with too much money are going out and buying them all, right? So, I don't know. I mean, a really good example is Cars and Bids. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Great channel. I follow them and watch their stuff, mostly on Facebook. I actually don't watch them on YouTube, but a lot of their videos are short and they're like 30 seconds to 5 minutes. And all the time. That's what they do is car reviews. And those guys will be on there and they'll say, oh, wow, you know what? The C6 Corvette is the best buy right now. Well, all of a sudden, everybody with money to burn, right? They go out and buy their C6 Corvettes. Or they might say, you know what? The Mercedes AMG GT or whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Audi R8s are the best buy right now. People follow that stuff. They run out and buy them. So what's happening, right, is instead of me I'll use myself as the example, right? My Mustang. I talk about my Mustang on this channel regularly, so forgive me for that. But conceptualize with me, right? When I was younger, all I wanted, I didn't care about Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Audis. I didn't want any of that stuff. Mustang. I always wanted a 60s Mustang, preferably a fastback, which as you can see right here, it is not. It is a convertible. I have since bought a fiberglass fastback roof for it. So when it sits as it sits right now, it looks like a fastback, which my dream come true, truly my dream, okay? I watched that Mustang market go up to a point where I could not afford a fastback, even in junky, rusty condition. I just couldn't afford one. I had to settle and I bought my convertible. Well, fast forward to today, and convertibles still aren't as desirable as a fastback, but there's way less of them. For whatever reason, convertibles tend to hold their value incredibly well. Not that fastbacks don't, they do. Coupes are everywhere. You want a 60s coupe, you don't have to throw a rock very far, and there's one there. Convertibles are quite a bit harder to find, and fastbacks are probably equally as hard to find as a convertible, but they command different money because of different things. And so my car is kind of unique because it's convertible, but it's also a fastback if you have the roof on there, and I digress. I bought this car because it was within my budget and then built it as I could afford it. Companies today or people today aren't doing that. There are Mustang restoration companies, there are first-gen Bronco restoration companies, there are Gullwing Mercedes replica companies that are building these cars, selling them as turnkey, like new cars. Ford will give these companies that are building new Shelbys, like 67 Shelbys, they'll give them VIN numbers. So they VIN like a 67 car. It is absolutely absurd. So it's pricing the general public or the general person out of restoring cars. It is absolutely absurd. So think of like an early 2000s Mazda Miata. It's like an everyday commuter car for somebody, but it's the epitome of a sports car to somebody else. So if I don't own one and I hear somebody on YouTube say, you know what, Mazda Miatas are like the next classic car. If I'm opportunistic and I've got some money to burn, I might run out and buy one. It's a fun car I can enjoy. Now granted, I'm 6'2", I probably don't fit well in a Miata. I've never actually sat in one. Miata wouldn't be at the top of my personal list, but if I'm an opportunistic car flipper, or someone who's just an enthusiast who thinks I can make a little bit of money on these cars, which I have done, that's where I'm guilty, I might go out and buy one, watch the market appreciate a little bit, and then sell it. I can enjoy it for maybe a few hundred or even a couple thousand miles. Maybe I fix a few things or make it my own, and then I sell it and I make some money, and now all of a sudden, like, I feel pretty good about myself and I can go into the next car. I'm doing that on a small budget, you guys. Like, truly, truly, truly. I'll buy a few $1,000 car, put a few $100s or a couple $1,000s into it, and then I'll sell it for a few thousand more or whatever. And so I'm not like buying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 cars, then paying a restoration company to restore it, where I'm into the car $100,000 or more, and then thinking like all of a sudden I can sell it for $150,000, right? Because that's not what the average person can afford for a toy, which is likely maybe a third car or maybe a second car in some situations. Maybe that second or third car is the toy. And how many people out there can afford a 6-figure toy? I'd say not a lot, right? I mean, there's a vast majority of people that just can't even fathom what that would be like. Sure, there are people out there that can all day long go write the check, but are they the enthusiasts? Probably not. It's really getting to the point where it's pricing people out of DIY work. There used to be a company called Unique Performance, and they had in the early 2000s, something, I don't know the exact years, but if you guys remember the Gone in 60 Seconds movie with Nicolas Cage, they had a 67 fastback called Eleanor. Well, Unique Performance went to Ford and to Carroll Shelby and said, we want to build a continuation series. We want to build the car from the movie, VIN it as a 67 fastback Shelby. What do you think? Well, there was some approval, some disapproval, and there was lawsuits and all these different things. And there was for a very quite long period of time, if you built a car and you called it an Eleanor, or you put a GT500E on the side of it or whatever, they would come after you. Unique Performance would literally file a lawsuit against you, cease and desist. They would try to take your car, and it was a big deal. It's all licensing, right? It's got Carroll Shelby's name on it. It has Ford's name on it, right? So it became a bigger deal, but didn't stop Unique Performance from going out and acquiring these agreements and then selling their cars for $150,000 or $200,000. I mean, at that point, I'd rather just own an original Shelby. Why would you want a continuation series car if for the same money or less money maybe, you could go buy an original that's probably got a better long-term value? So I don't know. I mean, you get these restoration companies that are buying them all up, right? I mentioned the Bronco earlier. There are companies out there that restore Broncos, and they'll put hybrid powertrains in them. They'll put Coyote engines in them. They'll do whatever, small block, big block, you name it, customizing. They'll lift them. They'll probably not lower them, but they'll customize it to whatever you want. And they charge a freaking boatload. And can you blame them? No, the market is hot. I want a first-gen Bronco. Can I afford one? No, I can't. I don't want to pay that kind of money for one. Trucks, my 55, worth substantially less because of that last digit of the year. If it was a 1956, that truck is worth twice what it is right now because of the year. It's desirability. So are rich people and big business companies wrecking the market for the average person? I gotta say yes. I do think, again, I'm guilty of it because I come on this channel and I tell you all the time, my R8, it's a future classic. It's the best supercar you can buy for the money. I still firmly believe that. They haven't really appreciated as much as I would have speculated they would. I bought this car 4 years ago now. I could absolutely sell it for more than I paid. Absolutely, hands down. And I've driven it a few thousand miles. I get to look at it every single day, and I absolutely love it. So that's a win, and great. I didn't have to modify it if I didn't want to. I've added carbon fiber bits and pieces and things, but I didn't have to do any of that. As it sat, bone stock, great car, runs and drives beautifully. It has a little bit appreciated. My Mustang, I bought this thing as a rusty bucket, truly, a shell, non-running, absolute garbage. It had to be trailered to me. It had a blown 289 in it, all the things, right? It was absolutely a basket case car. And I paid, I think, $5,000 for it. I could go look. I have to go look. But paid like $5,000 for it. And probably over the 7 years, I restored the car in my garage, including paint and bodywork and all the extensive stuff, transmission, engine, rebuilt the engine, all the things. I'm into the car somewhere, give or take, around $40,000. If I were to sell that thing, could I get 100? No, heck no, absolutely not. If I were to sell it, it's probably honestly worth between 50 and 60, looking online and seeing what similar cars are selling for. It's not even a continuation. It's not even VINed as a Shelby. It's not a fastback, all the things, right? It's a Mustang. At the end of the day, it's a Mustang that looks cool. And so are people wrecked? Yeah, I think that's the problem, is speculation has really killed it. Because people no longer buy what they like because they like it. They buy it because they're told to like it. YouTubers go on there and say, you need to buy this car because whatever. The other thing is movies, right? Movies help us speculate. Let me rephrase this. The 67 Shelby, iconic car, made more iconic to a new generation of people, the youth, when that movie came out in 99 or 2000. All of a sudden, there was a whole car culture. Boom, gotta have an Eleanor. Guilty. Kind of fell into that. Did I end up with my Eleanor? No. But I wanted one for 20 years. Fast and Furious, total car culture changing everything, right? There was a huge car scene in the 90s all around that. That movie was based on the car culture in LA through the mid 90s. Now the movie came out in 1999 or 2000, I suppose. That was brand new, eye-opening information to most of the world, right? It was kind of an underground scene in the 90s. But you go back to Truckin' Magazine or any of these little mini trucks especially, wild paint jobs, crazy things, that's been around forever, you guys. Think of psychedelic paint jobs and tie-dyes and this, that, and the other in the 60s, 70s, through the 80s and 90s, and then it became a little bit more, different, but still out there. You don't see car culture, you don't see the paint that way anymore. You don't see the wraps emulating that so much, and that's kind of surprising to me. I digress once again. That's really all I got for you guys this week. Really what I wanted to share is, in my opinion, people like myself, other YouTubers, big businesses, rich people with too much money, they are wrecking the industry for the normal person who wants to buy a car to restore. Don't like a car because you're told to. Like it because you like it. Maybe it's a car you had to have when you were a kid, or maybe it's a car you did have and it's the one that got away. I think we all have those. So that's what you should put your focus on. Don't buy a Mazda Miata because somebody tells you it's a future classic. Buy a Mazda Miata because you want it and you like it. Simple as that. So don't let YouTubers such as myself, other people, don't let them dictate what you're buying and what you're not buying. Just know that the car market does ebb and flow. And unfortunately, it's so heavily influenced by the outside, it does wreck it for a lot of people. Will I ever have my first gen Bronco? I don't know. In perfect garage world, I would. I'd buy one as cheap as I could get it, and I would build it the way I want it. Doesn't have to run, I just want one. I said the same thing about my 56, and I settled and got a 55. That's okay. I said the same thing about my Mustang. I wanted a 67 fastback, ended up with a 68 convertible, was what I could afford. That's that. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment down below and ask questions. Let me know your thoughts on all this. But most importantly, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.